All right, welcome. For those of you new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning back, welcome back. Appreciate your viewership. So, as you can see, this is a side by side of me going through Titans Grove, testing out the lightweight Meilenstein wheels versus the DT Swiss disc wheels. So, I'm using the Wahoo app to control the wattage on my trainer. And as you can see here, right now I have it set for 200 watts. And then the plan is when I hit the KOM, the start of the KOM, I switched it to 250, which you'll see in the app here in just a sec. And basically, the way the app works is I have my trainer connected to the app via Bluetooth, and then um, on Zwift, I have it set up connected via ANT, so that way Zwift is not controlling my trainer nor the resistance. It's only just receiving information. And then I also have a separate cadence sensor connected to Zwift, so that way my trainer is solely connected to my phone with the Wahoo app. And so there you go. You see me switch it to 250, which means I hit the start of the KOM. And so the idea was I was speaking with Steve J on the Discord group, which I'll link to his channel and the Discord groups that we're on. And basically, what we were talking about is whether or not the wheel choice makes a huge difference. I'm 88 kilograms, or about 192 pounds, and I feel like at 100% trainer difficulty, my um, my choice in wheels can make a difference when I'm racing, and my choice in bike can make a difference when I'm racing. And so he and I were talking, and I told him, I was like, I feel like with the heavier wheels, whether it's a DT Swiss disc wheels or the NV 7/8s, I feel like they're basically like lead weights going over top of hills. And usually in stages like this, where it's going over undulations, where I feel like I have the most issues because I start to stall out at the top of the hill, and then end up losing touch with the group. If I'm in the peloton in the front group. And so we're talking about testing it out, and he recommended I use the Wahoo app to test it out and get connected, so that way I can control the specific wattage that I want to stay at. And so as you can see here on the climb, I'm doing my best to, well, the trainer and the Wahoo app are trying to keep me within the 250 range. Obviously, it's going to fluctuate back and forth a little bit, but I don't think it's that much of an issue in terms of, bouncing around. It stayed pretty well within the 250 range while I was on the climb, and 200 everywhere else. And what I started to notice, especially on the climb here, you can tell on the right hand side, my ghost is trailing behind me. And it averaged, within 10 meters behind me the whole way. And so as I was going up the climb, I'm thinking like, man, I can't believe the disc wheels are actually working better than the lightweights. And this is, I think maybe this is not the best climb to showcase this, so I'm going to do the same thing with the Zwift KOM. I'm going to, go 2 rounds up the Zwift KOM, one with the lightweight, one with the DT Swiss disc wheels, to see how it performs there. But if you're doing a stage like this where it's mostly hilly and has a decent KOM, I'm not a fan of coming up the Titan Grove KOM on this side, but it is what it is. And so, you know, this side is a little bit longer, a little bit, not as steep as the other side of it, but you do get a sense for how the wheels are going to perform. I think the average grading is only like 3% or something like that. Whatever, 2.2 is what it shows on the screen. So not very steep. And as you can see here, on the disc wheels, I reached the banner a few seconds before I reached it with the lightweight wheels. And again, maybe this is not the best stage to showcase those lightweight wheels versus the disc. The disc did fantastic. Um, Ultimately, you'll see that I got to the other side of Titans Grove fairly quickly, but again, not far off from lightweights. And so and just to kind of backtrack a bit, so what I did was I used the TikTok route in order to get to Titans Grove. So that way I can basically go through the desert area, warm up my legs, and then come back around. And then I manually diverted into Titans Grove once I got to that fork in the road. And so we're coming up to the last little bit here in Titans Grove. And again, I'm doing I have the trainer set to 200 watts, so it's doing its best to keep me within that range. And while you know, I'm sure that affects how long it took me to ride through it, but probably not much. I truly don't think it would have affected it really any. The speeds that I'm hitting with each sets of wheels, I think, are making the biggest difference. I am specifically on the downhill and on the flats, I'm going faster with the disc wheels. And as you can see, with the disc wheels, you know, I'm maybe not hitting some of the peak speeds. I'm trying to keep track of where it's at because I, got into the 54 kilometers an hour there, going through these hills. And so, you know, I think I'm hitting maybe 1 or 2 kilometers per hour more on the disc wheels than I am the lightweight wheels, which for someone who's 88 kilograms, that makes a huge difference when it comes to racing. That could be the difference between staying on the wheels and not staying on the wheels. So this was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. As we come to the end of Titan Grove here, um, you can see that I don't know how many seconds I am ahead of my first round with the lightweight wheels versus the disc, but I'm definitely ahead, and enough to where it's definitely convinced me that when it comes to racing on stages like Titans Grove, where you got short, not really steep hill, there's some others that are like that aren't too bad. I think actually what I should do is Box Hill because that's a pretty steep, long hill, and it takes me probably about 7-8 minutes to get up Box Hill at full speed. So here we go, me ending out of Titans Grove, as you can see on the right hand side, literally a handful of seconds, maybe 5-10 seconds ahead of with the lightweight wheels. So figure out what wheel set you want to use depending on the race. If it doesn't have a lot of climbing to do, maybe the disc wheels are the right choice for you.